We resume this section of the Budget Committee meeting. September 8th is today's date, and time is 4:06.
So, since the last time we met, we have reconciled payroll numbers, all of the 2s, 3s, and 4s across all of the departments and funds. Myself in the auditor's office has reconciled those numbers. So we're good on those, and what we have provided you right here is a printout from Gateway that is, what you have proposed in the adopted column. Now, until, it's not technically adopted yet until the gavel goes down and, you know, the vote is on it, but that's how it'll look should it get passed as proposed, but that's what you're going to be proposing. So, and this has to be entered in prior to the meeting so that all the documents can be printed. If you need, if for some reason you make an adjustment, then we have to do so accordingly that evening, or recess and come back. So that would be what that looks like. So, but that would be all of your appropriations. By doing some of the shifts that we have done from the general fund to, like CUMCAP development, public safety, lit correctional rehab, your general fund budget has went down from 42706 270 to 42634. So it's not a lot, but it's down. I mean, so with raises and everything, you went from 42706, 42,706,000 to 42,634.
Where is that on there?
So, see where it's the first green column?
Oh, right there.
It's on the very edge. So 42634 800. And if I scroll down, I have what last year's approved budget was, 42706. So there's a decrease in that. So the last thing that Cheryl and I have to do that may cause insignificant changes is go through and balance the line 2, which is the necessary expenditures, to make sure that all the encumbrances have been picked up and any additional appropriations. So that's kind of where we're at on that. We have a couple of them that we've noticed there's something's not hitting quite right. So we'll need to go through and look at those. But on the bright side, there's a lot of them that are hitting right. So but they would be insignificant changes. It would not change the amount you're adopting. It may drop, either change the operating, because it doesn't necessarily have to drop, would either increase or decrease the operating balance a little bit. Won't change the levy. So it's just kind of housekeeping to get everything balanced and good. I think if you guys are okay, if the committee's okay with it, we can make those changes and present you with the new document in the end. But
Okay.
as long as you're okay with what you've done so far, this document's good.
Okay.
Well, and I just have a question. So it was about 100,000. Is that what I'm seeing right between
Yes.
last year and this year? In your thoughts, just as we're kind of prepping, because I want to be prepared to answer questions if any have any on Tuesday. And I don't know about, Councilman Thompson, but I felt like we were really slashing stuff. And so to hear that it's just 100,000, was it because we shifted things? Because we were really going through carefully looking at what had been used over the last 3 years and this and that.
You did, but when you have if you remember correctly, your insurance went up.
Yeah.
It was almost $1 million for the general
That's
fund.
true. Okay.
So
that's why I was wondering if it was one thing.
So you say, okay, the $1 million, and then you increase compensation, and I don't remember what that number is off the top of my head, but that's built in there too. So you had some things in there that was going to happen regardless, especially the insurance.
Okay.
You know, you had some increases in utilities and things like that you did not have a lot of control over.
I was wondering, just in looking through things, I was wondering if it was one big thing, so that makes sense. I forgot the insurance had gone up that much.
Yeah, so for the general fund alone, I think it was right around $1 million, so.
And did we ever find out if those are bid out every year? Is that something I need to ask the commissioners?
I don't think they're bid out every year. I don't know if Cheryl has
Do
an
you know
answer
by
to
any
that.
chance, Cheryl? But they do every now and then. So, okay.
That's-
Okay. And I know every year could cause chaos too, because I mean, then you have to make sure your doctors and stuff are covered, but just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And that has to go through the commissioners, right? Like if they're doing that? Okay.
Yes, so, you know, taking that into consideration with the insurance, you have your compensation in there. I mean, overall, I think it's pretty well, when you look at, some of the things you shifted out may have even been new expenditures.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
I
new
mean, there was-
requests.
Yeah,
So, things that you felt needed to be funded, but, you funded it from a different place than, the general fund. Cause you did have some options this year with your cube cap development, your lit public safety, and then the lit correctional rehab. You did some shifts from, like, some of your smaller user fee funds. You did the, auditors and eligible deduct, you did juvenile,
Mhm.
non-reverting,
right, we did a lot of kind of shuffling
shift some
around.
through reassessment. So, I mean, there's multiple things you shifted, and, I mean, and done all, so, I mean, normally your budget goes up.
Yeah,
I mean,
so this is good that we've done it.
yeah, I mean, for it to go down, I'm pretty impressed with that.
Can you
So-
move that screen down a little bit?
Yeah.
Or up? Yeah, right there. All right.
Yeah, and then, kind of the last thing, just kind of want to show you, if you can see this right here, it's your projected revenue to your recommended appropriations or proposed appropriations.
And that's the one that was conservative from the 40,000 from, whatchamacallit,
On revenue,
yeah,
well, the 40 million.
uh-huh,
What that is, it looks at your line AB, which is your, it includes your miscellaneous revenues, so it's, CVET, FIT, excise, and, I don't know, maybe this helps if I show you, right there, does that help?
yeah, I just
I don't know
couldn't
if
see
you
over
can
the
see it.
cross.
You have that, you have what you anticipate for your property tax levy, and then you subtract out your tax caps. So if you have 1633, you're looking at 49, but we're looking, based on the projected tax caps the LGA gave us, and by shifting levies, you're looking at 9.3 million in tax cap loss. So of that 33 million, you're only gonna collect about 24, based on those numbers, so. So that's kind of how that works. So if you look at this in total, 4,044,000 is the difference between your revenue and proposed appropriations. So, which your appropriations are higher. So if your tax cap numbers come in less than what are projected at the 4.2 more than what they originally, 4.2, 4.3 more, if it comes in less, that'll only help this number right here. And that's one of the problems that with this budget at this point is we don't know what the tax caps are. We're trying to prepare for the worst case scenario.
I have one of your minutes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where you are with that. And then one of the last things I did, and I think I've touched upon this before, if you look at your working max levy, it looks like it's about 900,000 over, what we're proposing is about 900,000 over our working max. But part of that is because I want to allow for your cumulative funds so that if they cut that levy, it's not lost. It'll shift to one of our other funds, but if we don't advertise them high enough, then we won't get it. So, but that, once this gets sent off to the DLGF and they work up our budget and give us a final tax rates and everything else and approve a budget, we'll know then where they're gonna make their cuts. And what that'll happen is they will adjust it to the operating balances usually, if there's an operating balance to adjust it to, which normally it's the general fund because it's the largest operating balance and largest budget. But one of the things that we did was shift a lot of the levy, more of the levy towards the general fund. And I'll look at that once we get our final numbers to see if we need to shift some of that around a little bit more, but won't change anything overall.
That's right. Questions?
Just need to move.
So if you're good with it, you wanna,
So just remind me again, what is it that you guys will just have to adjust, just a few of the?
so what it is, it is necessary expenditures July 1 through December 31st.
Oh, okay, of present year.
Yeah, and we may be able to go through and adjust some of these additional appropriations down, but we had some appropriations in August, we'll have some in September potentially,
Mhm.
and then we have October, November left, so we try to put something in there that's realistic. So, in the event that they do appropriate, we've accounted for it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But what, on that necessary expenditure, basically, we're looking at what has been appropriated through the budget process, encumbered or additional appropriations, and look at what's been paid out through June 30th and say this is what the balance, what they have the authority to spend.
Mhm.
There were some adjustments made in there that this kind of skewed a couple of our numbers, so we want to make sure they're good.
Well, thank you. This helps a lot.
Yeah, it's nice to see the final
Yeah, it is.
cleaned up. Just carry this.
I bet you does.
Instead of the
Is
big
that a bunch
binder.
of, writing all over it?
Yeah, well, so I thought you would appreciate a smaller document.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Very
other
much
one, if
so.
you need notes, you might appreciate it, but
No, but this is,
And I will
it's
tell
nice
you
to see it
that's
all
in-
spelled out.
it's in a funky order. I mean, so you just kind of have to watch in that first column, it'll tell you what fund it is,
Mhm.
so,
And then department.
Department.
yeah. Usually when there's no department, it's like what I'm looking at is Park and Rec. You know, the Park and Rec's the only thing in the Park and Rec fund, so it's no department. So, the same way with Casino Riverboat.
Oh, okay. I see
So
what you're saying,
it's
yeah.
not like they have the auditor, the treasurer, the.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying there.
For the most part, I think the general fund's the only one that has multiple departments.
Oh.
Highway does, but the rest of them have a lot of no departments.
I like this.
Just a little bit more compact.
Yeah. It's got all the big tips.
And that gives
Does
you,
it have a sheet at all with like, well, I guess it's not, I can total it, but
Like that.
like totals for each department or anything like
it,
that?
yes, they're in there. If you go into the general fund, you'll see where
So,
it
like,
breaks
right
it down
one
by
hidden, okay.
department.
Got it, got it.
And then you have a total for the whole
Nice
fund.
green ones highlighted there.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
I will see.
It's just 'cause I'm flipping through general, it's all adding up. Nothing there, yeah.
So,
Yep, there it is. Oh, it came in loaned. Oh,
kind of gives you an idea. So the total proposed budget that you have put forth is 74,564,811. So, and the 2022 was 73,647. So while the general fund budget is lower, by shifting some of those other things out, it's increased, so. Some of the other funds.
So those, that's our total right there. If we
And it looks-
total those all up.
Yeah, so increase in budget was, basically 24.6%, so it's 1.246%. 1.246%. Sorry, I had that backwards. So overall, between 22 and 23.
I'm gonna write those things down real quick.
I think I'd sent that to you, and I tried putting notes on there so you knew what all those comments, what those numbers meant. I can print this page out for you.
Can you?
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That'd probably be
Yeah.
better than
Yeah,
me
we can do
trying
that.
to.
Yeah, because I'm writing my own notes and it's probably gonna get butchered.
Yeah, Nicole. Good.
Okay, anything
Easier to
else?
read that. I don't.
Thank you.
If it went, we'll see.
All right.
You guys make a motion.
Do we need to make a motion to accept this?
You can make a motion to move it on to full count. Actually, what I think might be better is if you make a motion first to allow us to make any small adjustments that we need to make. Not to the budgeted line items, but
Yeah, just to the,
to then, which would be like the operating balance, the levy, and then the necessary expenditures, and that would get us where we need to be. So if you could make a motion for that, that gives us the authority to do that, and then to make a motion to send it all with any changes we may make to the full council. So I need two motions.
make that, what was it to operating? I was like, is he writing it down? Operating balance.
It'd be operating balance.
Levy.
Levy, and then also the necessary expenditures, July 1 through December 31st.
Okay. You know I love motions.
I know, that's why I'm so excited.
I'd like to make, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed budget, and should I do it separate?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I'd like to make a motion first to approve the auditor's office and the county council, I guess you would say, do I name you by name? Administration.
could.
Calista
However you
Miller,
want
county council offices, to be able to make adjustments as needed prior to the budget meeting for operating balance, balancing levy, and necessary expenditures from July 1st to December 31st as needed.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Look at you go. Motion number 2.
Motion number 2 is just to move it on. So I'd like to make a motion to, for the committee to accept the budget as we see and move it on to the full council for the next meeting, which will be
With the minor adjustments.
with minor adjustments, September, what is the day on that? 13th
13.
council meeting.
I will second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Yeah, oh, we gotta move to adjourn. Oh, I'll make the motion, sorry. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.
It's so weird with just 2 people.